Hi, I'm Johan from Economia, your destination for financial independence, tips to invest and spend wisely. You know about mobile wallets and cashless solutions. But did you know that Japan has more than 10 different services? Can you name any of them? And more importantly, are they coming to a place near you? And what can you do with them? That's what we're going to discuss today as soon as you click the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you. Let's get started. Japan has traditionally been a cash-based society. But recently, things have changed. And if we look at the data from 2021, based on point of sales data, only 50% of the transactions are now cash-based, with 32% of them credit card-based, and mobile wallets are at 9%. Now, if we look at e-commerce plus POS and all other transactions, mobile wallets or cashless payment, if you will, have reached 32.5% of the total. It's a very big increase. Going into details, we found out that 60% of Japanese people have actually used cashless payments. And if we go people in their 30s or 40s, we go to 61, up to 65% of people using cashless payments. As time goes by, we can only expect this percentage to go up. When we talk about mobile wallets or cashless payments, there are two big types. Either you use a card or your phone to swipe on the terminal, or you use a QR code or a barcode. And I know that in the West, QR codes are not that available, but here in Asia, it's been everywhere for the longest time and everybody uses them. Then, if we look at mobile wallets, you have two types of ways to actually fund your wallet. Either you use a credit card or debit card to progressively fund your wallet, or you prepay your wallet. So you charge your wallet either at an ATM or using cash or any other ways to prepay. Speaking of mobile wallets in Japan, the grandpa, the ancestor of them all, is probably the one called Edi. It got started in 2001 by a company called Bittrex, a startup that was well financed by a lot of different banks. It was available almost everywhere and you could use it. It was really the precursor. In 2012, it got taken over by Rakuten and now it's called Rakuten Edi. And it's available and usable in about 1 million locations across Japan. Rakuten Pay is actually the payment system developed by Rakuten, this e-commerce behemoth out of Japan. Although they don't give the number of users they have, it's available in 5 million locations. Continuing, you have Mercari, which is a startup that provides a platform for people to buy and sell second-hand products. They started their payment system, the system of payment, payment system, that's what I was about to say, called MerPay in 2019. And now it's used by 11 million people and it's available in 2.9 million locations. We have ID Pay. ID Pay was launched in 2014 by Docomo, the largest mobile network in Japan. And they launched it together with MasterCard. It's really a simple cashless and touchless payment that's usually together with a credit card. Nowadays, Docomo is pushing D-Barai, which is their own mobile wallet payment system. It's used by 39 million people and it's available in about 3 million locations across the country. And finally, au, the number 3 mobile network in Japan, has au Pay, as you would have imagined. It's being used by 26 million people and it's available in about 4.8 million locations. Talking about mobile operators, we cannot forget SoftBank. We all know about SoftBank because it's part of the holding, part of SoftBank Group, headed by Masayoshi Son. And SoftBank Mobile is the number 1 or number 2 mobile operator in Japan. They launched in 2014 their payment system called PayPay, which is an app, a mobile wallet. And it's been widely successful. Nowadays, it's reached 49 million users and it's available in 4 million different locations in Japan. And of course, there's Line, the super app from Japan. Well, actually, it's been developed by a subsidiary of Korean super powerhouse Naver. It was launched it was launched, sorry, in 2011 after the big tsunami in Japan as a way for everybody to contact each other. Since then, it has grown so much that it has 92 million users in Japan, or about 72% of the Japanese population. And of course, they launched LINE Pay that now has 40 million users in Japan. And last year, in 2021, it was announced that LINE Pay and PayPay would merge. And basically, users could pay with one or the other, and they would be accepted in every store that accept either LINE Pay or PayPay. And created a super power in terms of cashless payment in Japan. And it's probably going to standardize the whole industry. As you can see, there are many options. But there's one more. Under Japan Railways, there are many payment options. You can see here on the screen all the names. The way it works is that in Japan, transportation, you can use an IC card, and there are about 87 million IC cards in Japan, which represents 76% of the whole population, and every one of them is actually a payment option. And according to a recent survey, 48% of cashless solution users prefer using this type of solution primarily before others. So a very powerful solution here too. As you can see, many solutions, whether they come from Japan Railways, which is a public company, or all those private companies all across Japan. So the question is, are those companies going outside of Japan and completely taking over all the cashless payments? Or the payments in general? Well, the answer is twofold. If we look just at Japan first, obviously this is going to grow. It has grown very fast in the past few years, and I was mentioning that we are at 32.5% of overall payments, and the Japanese government is looking at 40%, even 50% by 2025. So it's going to grow even more. And LINE Pay and PayPay getting together are going to standardize the industry, and it's going to make it easier to use, easier to charge, and overall ubiquitous. We can imagine that it's going to continue to develop a lot. And I mentioned about the 30-year-old and 40-year-old really like using them. More and more people are going to do, because those are the center of people who are using and the active population. So we can just imagine this is going to continue growing and more take over cash, and cash sitting at 50% of all transactions is going to probably going lower thanks to that. Now, if we look at outside Japan, it's going to be more difficult. As you know, the super apps and the cashless payments are much more developed all across the world, as you can see on this chart. Additionally, if you look at China, you have WeChat and Alipay that are very developed. If you go to Singapore, you have Grab. If you go to Indonesia, we have Gojek, and many more. If you go India, would have Paytm and others. And if you go to the Western countries, including Australia, New Zealand, you're going to have Apple Pay and Google Pay and many others. So it's a very crowded place. It's going to probably be very difficult to break through for those Japanese apps. If any go through, I guess it's PayPay, LINE together, especially as LINE is already in Taiwan, is already in Thailand, well developed. So those could be actually the possibility to go and break through. But I don't get my hopes too high, given what has happened in the past with Japanese technology in the past 20 years. But I'm happy to be proven wrong. How can you benefit from it? Well, if you're not a Japanese resident, it's going to be difficult, because you would need a Japanese phone number, maybe a Japanese credit card or bank account. So your only options would be Google Pay, Apple Pay, and maybe WeChat or Alipay if you're using those to be accepted here in Japan. If you're living in Japan, then yes, definitely you can benefit from it. It replaces cash easily because it's available everywhere. It's so easy. There are a lot of points that you can get with inside the app. So you get cashback that are really good, or points that are also really good that you can use everywhere. And usually the percentage of cashback you get is better than by debit card or credit cards. And there are a lot of campaigns that increase that even more, especially now that everybody is competing against each other. So I highly recommend you try it out. It's really a good way to stretch your budget. And speaking of budget, as you can have a line item for all your transactions, you never lose a receipt. It's not like cash. It's a great way to look at your budget and manage your expenses, especially if you are prepaying or if you are using a debit card, because you're never spending more than you already have. If you're using a credit card, danger there, because you might be tempted to spend extra. Or maybe you're gonna leave a balance on your credit card at the end of the month, which is a big no-no, as I explained in this video that I'm linking here on the screen. So, in summary, yes, you can take advantage of it if you're living in Japan and leverage the points, leverage all the campaigns, and it's a great way to look at your expenses and a very convenient way as well. Time to sum up. Yes, the cashless revolution is here in Japan as well, and at last, it's growing super fast, the government is behind it, all those multiple players are pushing it very hard, and the consolidation between Line and PayPay is going to help standardize and really develop it even more. And as young people, active people are embracing it wholeheartedly, it can only grow and explode and make it more convenient. Now, will it go beyond Japan, meaning that it's going to try to compete with the existing massive cashless solution across the world? I have my doubt, but we can see how it evolves over time. That's all for today. If you liked it or learned something, do not hesitate to click the like button and subscribe for more content to come. If I missed something, or if you would like to see other types of content, please leave a comment down below. Thank you, and until next time.